How do we protect human rights, protect privacy rights, but get the criminals at the same time? Especially when the criminals hide in civilian, innocent population.
The recently passed law reform zones of Special Operations, Special Security and Community Development Measures Act is expected to strike such a balance. While the security forces restore law and order in communities, social service agencies will be activated to provide well-needed services, such as public health, youth engagement, and child care and protection. In addition to that, there will be a strict accountability framework for the security forces. These and other measures are government's way of ensuring that Jamaica continues on its path to become the place of choice to live, work, raise families, and do business. It's Jamaica Magazine, your favorite magazine program. Our show starts right now.
Good day, I'm Theodore Henry, and this is your GIS News for Monday, July 17. 7,000 new business process outsourcing jobs are expected to be created in the first quarter of 2018. That's in addition to the 5,000 jobs which are to come from the build-out of the Port Authority of Jamaica's Tech Park in Portmore. The rest will come from private sector players. Prime Minister Andrew Holness made the announcement during last week's town hall meeting in St. Thomas, where he disclosed that 4,000 new jobs were created in the sector between April 2016 and March 2017.
September coming, with the Port Authority's development of new facilities in Montego Bay. 2,000 new jobs will be created. This is not if, but, or maybe. 2,000 new jobs will be created.
Meanwhile, the Prime Minister has unveiled plans to provide an alternative to haulage on the much-anticipated Southern Coastal Highway. Mr. Holness says the haulage of minerals and aggregate for the mining sector is important, but so is preserving the roadway.
So Bowden is going to be developed as a bulk port to move aggregate, limestone, and other minerals to ease the pressure off the road so that the road lasts a little longer.
The project will be undertaken by the Port Authority of Jamaica. While addressing another function recently, Prime Minister Andrew Holness asked the National Housing Trust and the St. Catherine Municipal Corporation to partner with the Jamaica National Heritage Trust and carry out restorative works on Quebec Castle. He says it's important to preserve the historic and heritage value of these kinds of properties while also seeing to their modern use.
I think we should restore these buildings and have them functional so people can live within their walls and produce value out of them. That doesn't change the fact that it is historic. But when the building is able to be used, it is better preserved.
The Prime Minister gave the directives Friday as he broke ground for phases 1 and 2 of the Villages of Quebec housing development. 2,000 serviced lots are to be delivered in 5 phases over 3 years, with phase 1 and 2 scheduled for October 2018. The $5.4 billion development, which is to be built on 89 acres of land, is a joint venture between the National Housing Trust and BCR Industries Company Limited. The Public Sector Transformation Oversight Committee, PSTOC, is reporting that government met all economic and financial policy benchmarks under its IMF agreement for the month of May. These include identifying the positions that will be affected due to the implementation of shared corporate services in human resources. Government also met the benchmarks governing rehiring of persons in the early retirement program and rules and standards for the continued employment after retirement age. This was revealed in a statement following PSTOC's third quarterly meeting held last week. The committee says the time-bound plan for the reintegration of eligible public bodies into central government, which is to be submitted to the Cabinet by the end of July, is also on track. And finally, Government will be spending $23 million carrying out activities to ensure the smooth implementation of a 3-month traffic ticket amnesty. The amnesty is scheduled to run from August 2 to October 31 and affects tickets issued between September 1, 2010 and July 31, 2017. State Minister for National Security, Senator Pernell Charles Jr., says 22 trained young persons will be hired in a call center to respond to queries from motorists during the period.
The allocation will also be used for the provision of additional cashier stations and security personnel required to manage the anticipated influx of motorists at the offices of the Tax Administration of Jamaica.
Government expects to recover over $2.8 billion in outstanding fines, which Senator Charles Jr. says will be used to improve justice and security.
We intend to utilize the funds to make sure that we have a better, more improved, more efficient, more capable system moving forward, so that as we contemplate making our roadways and our public thoroughfares safer for our people, we will also put in place the necessary support systems and mechanisms for the Jamaica Constabulary Force, for the Tax Administration of Jamaica, for the Ministry of National Security, for the Ministry of relating to Transport, and all stakeholders that will help Jamaica to move forward and advance ourselves.
On Friday, the Senate joined the lower house in passing the Road Traffic Temporary Ticket Amnesty Act 2017. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.
If you're watching the JIS, you're always in the know when it comes to government information. Keep watching, keep informed, and tell your friends. JIS, your #1 source for government info.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness held his second town hall meeting this past week. He also discussed the recently passed Zones of Special Operations Act. Get the details next.
Prime Minister brings hope to St. Thomas, opens 2 restorative justice centres, and breaks ground for 596 housing solutions. You're watching Jamaica House Weekly. I'm Lorraine Mendez. The Hope for Jamaica series of town hall meetings rolled through St. Thomas last week, bringing with it several plans to benefit residents. On Thursday, Prime Minister Andrew Holness told residents that work was advanced on the planned Southern Coastal Highway Improvement Project. That project, he said, would also include repair works to some local roads. Mr. Holness also disclosed plans to bring business process outsourcing jobs to the area.
We have already started to promote the space that is available here for BPO operations. And we have had interest.
The Prime Minister shared plans to move the Morant Bay Town Centre to the 25-acre Goodyear property and declare the current town a heritage site. That move, he said, will form the nucleus of a tourism industry in the parish.
Already, we have 2 serious prospects who want to develop a tourist resort in St. Thomas.
Mr. Holness has also directed the National Housing Trust to identify lands for development in the area. Crime was another agenda item for the Prime Minister at the town hall meeting. While commending the residents for keeping homicides down in the parish, he was quick to urge them to shun criminals.
Run them. Make sure that your parish remains safe and secure, because that is going to be one of the greatest attractions for investors to come here.
Tackling crime was still on the Prime Minister's mind when he opened 2 new restorative justice centres in Denham Town and Tivoli Gardens.
Providing access to efficient, undelayed, and certain public justice systems is critical to eliminating the space for criminals to set up their own private justice systems.
At Thursday's function, Mr. Holness reiterated that the recently passed Zones of Special Operations Bill will help to reduce crime. He said the legislation was a signal that the government and the opposition was not prepared to cede 1 square inch of Jamaica to any criminal organization.
There is only one sovereign state in Jamaica, and the government will act to protect the sovereign state. The establishment of the zone, therefore, is never about derogating, taking away, or abrogating the rights of the citizens. It is about protecting, preserving, and extending the rights of the law-abiding citizens of this country.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness says government is putting in the necessary regulations to support Jamaica's nutraceutical industry. While expressing support for cannabis research, Mr. Holness says the government has to ensure it is compliant with international standards, as the plant was illegal in some countries.
These are not just standards to do with medicine or compliance to do with health. It is also financial standards, banking standards, to ensure that our market is not being used for illegal activities parading under a license.
Mr. Holness was speaking Wednesday at a function for the award of orphan drug status of cannabis-based Cressorol by the United States Food and Drug Administration. The drug to treat acute myeloid leukemia was developed by Jamaican scientist Dr. Henry Lowe and other US-based researchers. On Friday, Prime Minister Holness was in Old Harbour St. Catherine breaking ground for Phase 1 and 2 of the Villages of Quebec Castle housing development. 595 of the 2,000 serviced lots will be delivered in October 2018. Another 863 are to be delivered in 2019, and in 2020, 467 serviced lots will be provided. The $5.4 billion development is to be built on 89 acres of land surrounding Quebec Castle.
This particular development is one of partnership. The NHT has 70% equity in this development, while BECR Industries Company Limited has 30% equity in the joint venture. The NHT will finance the infrastructure work for all phases, from which BCR will select and pay the joint venture for its 30% share of the serviced lot.
Earlier in the week, Prime Minister Holness ordered a review of the cell phone bills of ministers and ministers of state. The Ministry of Finance and the Public Service has been tasked with that responsibility. While that review is being done, a cap has been placed on the cell phone bills of ministers and ministers of state. And while the cap is in place, government ministers have committed to retroactively pay any overages on their bills. The Minister of Technology, meanwhile, has been instructed to hold discussions with telecommunications service providers to devise a special plan for government ministers. Prime Minister Andrew Holness hosted guests to Jamaica House this past week. On Tuesday, he met with Spain's Secretary of State for International Cooperation for Latin America and the Caribbean. The next day, the Prime Minister met with participants in the Grace Kennedy Birthright Program. And that's it for Jamaica House Weekly. Join us next time for more of the news coming out of the office of the Prime Minister.
We want a productive Jamaica. We are not productive Jamaicans. Productivity to move forward on this land. Productivity, that's the way to go, we should understand. Productivity is the way to go for all us Jamaicans. Small business, big business, old and young, we are tell every woman and man. We want growth and prosperity for a better nation with a building plan. So we can build our product and sell our product and put more money in our hand. Our economy can rise to a level and build a better nation. Productivity to move forward on this land. Productivity, that's the way to go, we should understand. Productivity to move forward on this land. Productivity, that's the way to go, we should understand. Productivity.
Productivity, pathway to prosperity. A message brought to you by the Jamaica Productivity Center, a department of the Ministry of Labor and Social Security.
The Learn, Earn, Give, Save Legs program kicked off recently with the first batch of recruits now receiving training at the Jamaica Defence Force. Hear more about the initiative, which is the brainchild of Prime Minister Andrew Holness.
If you had the opportunity to learn a skill, earn while you're doing that, save from what you're earning, and give back to society, would you take it?
Well, yes. There's a lot of opportunity there.
So I believe being a part of this initiative is a good step.
These youngsters did, 250 of them. They are the first batch of recruits who will be trained by the Jamaica Defence Force, JDF, this year under the newly instituted National Service Corps NSC program. Approximately 1,000 persons ages 18 to 23 are being targeted each year for professional development. They will benefit from military, vocational and life skills training over the one-year period.
The government of Jamaica wants to leverage the incredible training skills of the Jamaica Defence Force to use that to spread right across Jamaica, to get our young men and women who are seeking to develop themselves, who are looking for an alternative to the life that they now lead.
The training falls under the Learn, Earn, Give and Save program, or LEGS for short. The aim is to assist young people who, by virtue of their circumstances, are deemed vulnerable. So government, through the LEGS program, is engaging youth who are not enrolled in an approved educational institution or employed to find work and be trained in a marketable skill.
I'm glad to be a part of the start of this program because it's a wonderful one.
I just wish to be the change everybody talks about. This program have a lot to offer. You know, if you decide to choose a career path, this is the right path as well.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness met with the recruits just before they headed off to the JDF training facility at Newcastle. He encouraged them to make the best of the opportunity.
The success of the program depends on you. You are going to make this program successful for the others who will follow. How you take on to training, how you take on to national service, how you maintain the discipline and high standards of the army, how you maintain the spirit of the army, and how you give back to the society. This will determine whether or not the program is a success. And as I look around, I see eager young men, ready and willing to serve, ready and willing to take advantage of the opportunity you're given.
The training will equip the recruits with the ability to solve problems, manage stress, and lead healthy lifestyles. During the training period, recruits will undergo a modified version of the JDF's traditional basic military training. They will also undergo on-the-job training in various aspects of the JDF's operation units. These include the Coast Guard, Air Wing, and Engineering Unit. The recruits will also be trained in conflict resolution, communication, critical thinking, and general life skills.
It's actually a good step towards the future.
You get to learn a lot of skills and gain more knowledge on what you have got.
Upon completion of the program, participants will be given an opportunity to continue as soldiers in the JDF or join other government agencies.
I hope to achieve skills that will help me to take on the life that is set forth for my future.
Everyone wins at the end of the day. It's not just about a batch graduating to become a soldiers while others are just filtered back in the society. Everyone will be given an opportunity to do a work experience program at the end, which will allow them to be more qualified and more equipped for the world going forward.
This engagement of young people is a broader plan of the government to provide 25,000 work opportunities this year. So far, approximately 15,000 jobs have been identified through the formation of several core groups. These include the document management and digitization, environmental management, geographic information systems, infrastructure and construction, registration, verification and audit, hospitality core, as well as the National Service Enlistment Program of the JDF. At the end of their tenure,
your possibilities are endless. You would be far more employable than if you had not gone through this program.
the Prime Minister strongly believes that by involving youth in meaningful activities, it will reduce the chances of them being involved in illegal activities or even having the thought to do so. He pointed out that similar programs have been implemented in other countries, such as Israel, Switzerland, and South Korea, resulting in great discipline, orderliness, and togetherness.
We note that in those societies, crime and social disorder is low. But productivity and order and discipline and lawfulness is high.
This is the kind of transformation that's been targeted for Jamaica, as the government trains and employs thousands of youth each year.
This is Romain Virgo. I'm here appeal to all of the youths them to just stay away from crime and violence. We know the temptation, the money, the fast life. People say them rate you. But that will only take you nowhere. If you stay in school and focus, then you can achieve anything. Be your own leader. A gang is a dead end.
A message from the Ministry of National Security.
It's summer and most of us are in vacation mode. If you're planning to go overseas, here's all the information you need to obtain that little navy blue book that you'll need to access the world.
Shirley Johnson's office morning.
Mr. Shirley, me get the invitation from America.
We know that long time, Veronica. Finally, you can walk on foreign soil and stop daydreaming and do them job.
What? You know the passport? Watch out. Passport is easy thing to get. You want like a stress that. Oh, what a nice day.
I do one fast ram as usual. Lovely to people conversation. But that's true. The easiest thing to get is a passport now.
Shirley. How you get a passport again?
A passport is one of the most important forms of identification a person can possess that also proves citizenship. Getting one is a relatively easy process. There are certain requirements that a person like Veronica should ensure they fulfill before they can be issued the document.
Just fill out an application form and take along with it 2 passport-size photos to pick up.
Where you get the form from?
Application forms are available at the offices of the Passport, Immigration and Citizenship Agency PICA, on their website and police headquarters island-wide.
Evie, listen now. You must make sure, see, that the passport form and one of the photograph is certified by a list of persons on the application form that are authorized to sign the form. Like your Justice of the Peace, your pastor, your daughter, headmistress, you know, those persons listed.
Come on.
And make sure you submit the form and the photo before 6 months. Because knowing you who love to procrastinate, after that it's no longer valid. And you have to do the process all over again.
All
right.
Fees should be paid on the day that the application is submitted, and the applicant should take along supporting documents, such as a birth certificate or marriage certificate where necessary. If you are a first-time applicant like Veronica, you must appear in person either at the head office or to an immigration officer situated in the police divisional headquarters in each parish. Let's say your passport has expired, there are no more pages for visas, or you've changed your name. You are required to complete an application form and submit the expired passport as well as your birth certificate and photograph. Passports are issued on the date stipulated on the receipt. If collecting in person, you should present the receipt. If collecting on behalf of another person, a letter signed by the applicant and a copy of the applicant's ID must accompany the receipt. Overseas applicants can collect their passport at the mission office in their location.
V, when you're saying about your passport, make sure you secure the document, because I need to rampant.
Yeah, man.
So, my friend, ready to go for your passport?
Definitely, Shirley.
All right, chat later because I have something to finish off. All right, so later.
All right, Shirley, thanks.
All right, anytime.
For more information on the services offered by the Passport, Immigration and Citizenship Agency, please contact the Customer Service Unit, 25C Constant Spring Road, Kingston 10, or telephone 754-5249, or visit www.pica.gov.jm.
This is where we take our leave, but only for today. We'll be back tomorrow on this station, bringing you information you can use to enhance your daily lives. We maintain a constant online presence, so please continue to send your emails to jamaicamagazine@jis.gov.jm. Watch our program offerings on our website, jis.gov.jm, or on our YouTube page. Our Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram accounts are also chock full of news you can use. On behalf of the entire team here at the JIS, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Thank you for watching.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.